Peace everyone, welcome back to Giganomics. If you've been trying to start a medical carrier business or land your own direct medical carrier contracts, I want to talk about one of the biggest problems I continue to see. And it's not always your insurance, it's not always your vehicle, it's not even that there aren't enough pharmacies, labs, clinics, senior facilities, or healthcare businesses around you. A lot of y'all simply just don't know what to say when somebody answers the phone. You'll spend hours on Google Maps building a list of independent pharmacies, clinical labs, assisted living facilities, home care agencies, medical supply companies, and then that list just sits there because now you actually have to call them. And that's when the questions start. Who do I ask for? How do I introduce my medical courier business? Do I tell them my prices? What if they already have a carrier? What if they tell me they're not interested? What happens if they say that they are? And that's exactly why I put together the medical carrier outreach and call strip pack. This isn't just one cold call strip. I wanted to give you something you could actually keep open in front of you while you're doing your medical courier outreach. So first, I included a preparation checklist because before you start calling anybody, you need to know what you're offering. What areas are you covering? What hours are you available? Are you looking for scheduled routes, pharmacy delivery, specimen pickup, medical supply deliveries, stat work, backup work, overflow, or some combination of those? And if somebody says, send me your information, what do you actually have ready to send? Those are the things you should be thinking about before the opportunity comes. Then we get into the actual medical courier cold call strip. There's a strip specifically for independent pharmacies because I don't want you calling saying, hey, do you need a delivery driver? I'm going to teach you how to ask how are they currently handling their prescription deliveries and start uncovering whether there's actually a problem that you can solve. Then there's a separate strip for clinical labs and specimen pickup opportunities, and that's a different conversation. You're talking about pickup windows, specimen routes, doctor offices, clinics, recurring pickups, and whether you can fit that type of work into your existing service area. And then we have a strip for senior living facilities and home care agencies, including who you should be trying to reach and how to start a conversation around prescription deliveries, medical supplies, documents, and recurring delivery needs. But here's another place where people get stuck. You finally build up the courage to make the call and they tell you, we already have a courier. And you immediately think the opportunity is gone, but that's not necessarily always true. They may have a courier and still need backup coverage. The regular driver may call out, his vehicle may break down, they may need a stat delivery, the driver may not cover a certain area, or they just need somebody for overflow. So the pack also gives you objection responses to help you continue the conversation without sounding desperate or trying to pressure somebody into replacing a courier they're already happy with. But I didn't just stop there because I think one of the most dangerous moments for someone who's new in this business is when the customer actually says, yeah, we're interested. How much do you charge? So now you get nervous and you just throw out a random number, but you haven't asked how many stops they have. You don't know the mileage. You don't know the delivery window. You don't know how many days a week. You don't know whether they are returns, signatures, special handling, or additional requirements. And finally, there's a follow-up strip because medical courier outreach isn't always one phone call and a contract. Sometimes they tell you to send your information, sometimes they tell you to call next month, and sometimes they just don't need you today. Your job is to professionally stay in the conversation so when an opportunity does come up, they already heard your name. That's what this entire pack is about. Not about giving you some magical sentence that's going to guarantee you a medical courier contract. It's about helping you become more prepared and more professional when you approach these businesses, because you can have your LLC, you can have the commercial insurance, you can have your HIPAA and bloodborne training, you can have the website, the business cards, capability statements, and a clean vehicle. But at some point, somebody still has to pick up the phone and start the conversation. And if that's the part that's been holding you back, I created this pack specifically to help you get past it. So get your prospect list together, get the strips in front of you. Don't try to memorize every word and understand the conversation you're trying to have. Then start making the calls because your first direct medical courier contract isn't going to know your business exists until you introduce yourself. Stay safe, stay blessed, get to your hustle. Peace.